It's pretty much right on top of you. So again, you'll want to be getting to your safe spot immediately. In fact, the center, dead center of this circulation of what I'm seeing right now, it's right over Cyclone Lane, which is kind of fitting, I guess. But anyways, if you're around Cyclone Lane, you need to be getting to your safe spot immediately. Let me draw a track out from this, and so we can kind of give some people some heads up as this system's moving through. Let me zoom out just enough so we can get this full track in here. So we'll draw this from right where the center of that circulation is, okay? This is moving off towards the north and the east at about 40 to 45 miles an hour. There we go. So there's some cities where this is going to be moving into here in the next little bit. If we could bring me back on camera, Chuck, so I can point out some of these cities, that'd be great. So if you're going to be around the McEwen High School area, about 10:45, this is going to be moving into your neck of the woods. If you're around Tennessee City, it's going to be closer to about 10:50. Dickson County High School, it's going to be a little closer to about 11 o'clock. So here in about 30 to 35 minutes from now, the center of this circulation is going to be right over you. So you got some time, but here in about 10 or 15 minutes, you're going to want to go ahead and start getting to your safe spot. That's areas in like Dickson County High School, Van Leer, Burns, Charlotte, Adams Crossroads, out towards Tennessee City. You still got about 10 or 15 minutes before the center of this circulation will kind of be right over you. Again, just kind of pinpointing where I'm seeing a little bit of rotation. It's in between Waverly and Hurricane Mills. See if I can kind of ID what highway that is right there. It doesn't show me. But anyways, in between Waverly and Hurricane Mills, that's kind of where the center of this circulation is kind of spinning up right now. That's why they have that tornado warning in place. Again, if you're just joining us, that tornado warning goes until 11 p.m. So we got about 30 more minutes of this. I want to switch it back over to radar, and we can kind of see what the big picture looks like here. There is a very large line of severe storms working into Tennessee right now. Looks like things are kind of breaking apart a little bit down towards the south. Folks down towards Savannah there. It looks like you may be seeing some slight let-up of some very heavy rain, but on the southwestern side of the county there, there's still a lot of heavy rainfall. But thankfully, this is not severe thunderstorm warned. It's not tornado warned. All of that is just a little more north of Savannah right now. You see, we just got a little update there. Radar shifted a little towards the east, so it's great that we're getting live data here. And again, folks back towards Lexington there in Tennessee, back towards Milan, Jackson, Paris there in Tennessee, up there in what is it? That's Henry County. You're in good shape. You're in the clear, okay? You're good to go to bed if you need to. The severe portion of this line is now past you, so you are good to go. But again, areas like Waverly down through portions of Linden, up towards Clarksville there in Montgomery County, we're still dealing with several severe thunderstorm warnings. That's what those yellow boxes are. The red box you're seeing here in Humphreys and Dickson County, again, that is our lone tornado warning at the moment. That goes until 11 p.m. a little later on. Let's switch back over. I want to look at the rotation detector to see if there's any updates there. This still looks like very broad rotation to me. It's not super tight. It doesn't look anything like what we saw back on March 3rd. Here in the Nashville area. Thankfully, it doesn't look like that. But nonetheless, we still have at least some broad rotation, and it's enough that we're going to go ahead and start asking people to get to that safe spot. So again, if you're in the Hurricane Mills area, anywhere between Hurricane Mills and Waverly, you need to be getting to your safe spot. Out ahead of that, eastward of where that center of spin is, out towards Milltown, McEwen, Gorman, Tennessee City, now is the time to be grabbing what you need and moving to that safe spot in your home, that lowest level, that basement, the interior closet, interior bathroom, pillows, blankets, a helmet for the kids if you got something like that. Anything really to protect you. If you think it's good enough to protect you from anything, any flying debris outside, grab it. I'm not going to be mad about that. Anything you got, folks, just kind of protect yourself, stay safe with this. But this is kind of where we're dealing with at least a little bit of rotation right now. Let me switch back over to the radar, and we can kind of pick out where we're dealing some other strong portions of this line. Really, the whole line is strong right now, but some stronger areas where we're dealing with some gustier winds. In fact, let me look over at the wind speeds real quick. Boy, they're at Houston County. That is some very, very gusty looking winds. Let's see what this looks like 50, 70. Yeah, so we're dealing with winds around 50 to 70 miles an hour. So those are damaging straight line winds, what we're dealing with there in Houston County. And, folks, damaging straight line winds, that was going to be kind of the biggest deal with this line as it moved through the area. That's just this type of system. They're notorious for producing straight line winds, 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. And in lines like this, you can get these little kinks, these little notches in there, and that's kind of how we get these tornado warnings to pop up. So I'm not overly concerned about the chance for tornadoes this evening. While it's not zero chance, it's not a great chance. Thankfully, again, but again, it's not zero, so that's something that we're going to continue to watch. But I really believe that straight line damaging winds is going to kind of be the main thing out of this line as we head deeper into the evening tonight. Let me just kind of reset real quick. If you're just joining us, looking at the big picture, if you are along I-65, so we're talking Nashville, down towards Columbia, east of Columbia, that's where 65 is. We're still in the clear, folks. And if you are east of 65, Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Laverne, out towards Mount Juliet, Lebanon, you are still good. You still have about another hour to 2 hours from now before this line kind of catches up to your area. So you still have time to prepare. If you have any errands to do at 10:30 at night, then I guess you're fine to do those for the time being. But just know that closer to midnight that we get, or shortly thereafter, in Nashville, in Murfreesboro, in Laverne, that's when this is going to be moving through your area. So you have about an hour and a half to 2 hours from now before this kind of moves on through. Okay, let's dive back in. We do have a tornado warning. This is for, Humphreys and Dickson counties, and that goes until 11 p.m. So about another 25 minutes or so. This is now moved past Hurricane Mills. Let me switch back over, and we'll look at the rotation here. And it looks like the worst of the rotation, Waverly and Hurricane Mills, it's kind of moved past you. So you're good to go. You're good to come out of your safe spot, but still know that you're included in that severe thunderstorm warning, so would not be surprised if you're still seeing some gusty winds. This rotation is very broad in nature. There's no guarantee that there's a tornado on the ground, but there's enough rotation that we do have that tornado warning. Right now, folks in McEwen, out towards Tennessee City, out towards Dickson, this rotation is going to be moving over you in the next 2 to 15 minutes. So I do recommend that you go ahead and hop to your safe spot. Right now, lowest level of your home, if that's a basement, if you got something like that, that's a great spot. An interior closet, a bathroom, anything like that, those are good spots. Away from windows, basically, is what I'm trying to get at. That's where you don't want to be, is close to a window. Maybe outside trying to shoot some video of some lightning or something like that. Yeah, don't do that. I can't recommend that right now. Let me draw a track on this from kind of where the center of the circulation is right now. This system's moving off towards the north and east at about 45 to 50 miles an hour. So that's going to put this, again, the center of the circulation part of this tornado warning. It'll be right over Tennessee City here in about 10 minutes from now. Folks out towards Dickson, it'll be a little closer to 11 p.m., so here in about 25 minutes. Folks there in Van Leer, around Burns, it'll be a little after 11 p.m. tonight. Charlotte, Creekwood High School, it'll be a little closer to 11:05, 11:10, let's say. And around the Wycliffe area, it'll be around 11:10, 11:15. Again, this warning goes until 11 p.m. So there's a chance that this thing will be allowed to expire because the rotation just isn't as impressive looking, if you will. So we'll see what happens here across the next 20 to 25 minutes. But just know right now, if you do see your city in the box on the right side of your screen, you might want to go ahead and, especially for McEwen, Tennessee City, Adams Crossroads, Dickson County High School area, you'll need to be getting to your safe spot here immediately, just in case this thing does happen to tighten up a bit and ends up spawning a tornado. Again, the rotation is not super impressive, I will say that, but again, it's at least we're seeing some rotation. So that's why you have the tornado warning, and so that's why I do recommend that you do hop to your safe spot. Let me switch back over to let me go to the storm threats real quick. So in addition, inside of this severe thunderstorm warning and this tornado warning here in Humphreys and Dickson County, we do have the potential for maybe seeing some dime-sized hail. West of Milton, our radar is indicating a half-inch size hail, which is dime-sized, dime to penny size. So we could be dealing with that as well. It's not severe hail, but it is certainly some hail. So these are very strong storms that are rolling through the area right now. Let me just zoom out. I want to see what the rest of this looks like here across Middle Tennessee. So right now it's just heavy rain, gusty wind, and some small-sized hail kind of working through the area with just that one lonely tornado warning. Again, that is for Humphreys and Dickson counties. That goes for about another 20 to 25 minutes from now. Let's take a trip up there to the north. I want to kind of zoom into portions of Houston and Montgomery counties. We're seeing some really heavy rain work on through. I want to check out the lightning real quick. We're seeing about 8 strikes. There we go. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning now that goes until 11:30, and that's going to include portions of the eastern half of Montgomery County and portions of Robertson County, excuse me. And that goes until 11:30. We'll talk about that here in just a second. I do want to switch over and I want to show you the winds because that's something that we've really been watching up there in these counties, in Houston and Montgomery counties. Wind speeds right now, let's look at that. 40 to 60, some 70s in there somewhere. So we're certainly seeing some very, very gusty winds, folks. Around 60 to 70 miles an hour there in eastern Houston County, southwestern Montgomery County. Some very, very, very gusty winds. So in some cases, straight line winds can be even deadlier than tornadoes just because of how strong the winds are and how long they last. You know, tornadoes typically kind of they're very isolated. They come through pretty quick, but damaging straight line winds can actually span across a much larger area than tornadoes can. So in some instances, damaging straight line winds can be worse than actual low end tornadoes. So that's why we kind of treat those the same, at least I do. And I think you should too. Nonetheless, in eastern Houston, southwestern Montgomery County, there's some really gusty wind right there, folks. So that's moving off towards the east too at about 40 to 45 miles an hour. In fact, let me just go ahead and draw a track on that. There we go. We just got an update. Let me draw a track on this just to kind of give folks a heads up of when they're expecting to see some really, really gusty winds. Here we go. Cunningham around 10:45, so here in about 5 minutes. Henrietta closer to about 11 o'clock. Cheap Hill, Chapmansboro around 11 o'clock as well. Sango, Cheatham County High School around 11. Sycamore High School, if you know where that is, around 11:05. Port Royal and Pleasant View. It'll be a little after 11 o'clock that these gusty winds will be in your area. And in addition to the gusty winds, this is when the heavy rainfall will be moving through as well. So you'll be dealing with kind of a 1-2 punch there. Some really heavy rain and then some really gusty winds with this as well. So lots to track here in these cities here across the next, 40 to 45 minutes from now. So we'll keep a close eye on that for you. Dropping back down, I do want to check back in with this tornado warning. It's our only tornado warning that we are tracking right now, and this is for Humphreys and Dickson County. Again, Waverly, Hurricane Mills, folks, you're good to go. So you are no longer, for the most part, inside of this tornado warning. The southern edge, okay, there we go. So I was going to say the southern edge of Waverly, you're still kind of included in that polygon, that tornado warning, but the rotation's long past you, so you're good to go in Waverly. I'm not worried about that anymore. Let me switch over. Let's look at the rotation. Okay, so now the center of the rotation is right over Tennessee City. And it looks like the timing has worked out just perfect. What did I say a few minutes ago? It was going to be right around 10:40, 10:45. So here we are. So Tennessee City, folks, hopefully you have listened to my advice and you have gotten to your safe spot. If you're watching in Tennessee City from your basement or your interior closet right now, the rotation's right over you. I have not seen, let me just check the chat service real quick. I have not seen any type of confirmation of a tornado, so that is certainly some good news, or some damage, anything like that. I am seeing, though, that, let's see here, Dickson. Okay, so the tornado warning has now been canceled for Dickson and Humphreys County. So that has been allowed to expire about 15 minutes early. So that is good. But still, that's this area in Tennessee City. That's where we saw that rotation. That's why that tornado warning was prompted. So we'll keep a close eye on that area. Still, if you are in Tennessee City, if you're out towards Dickson, it's not at all going to be a bad idea to stay in that safe spot for another 15 to 20 minutes and just let the main portion of this line move through your area, and then you will be in good shape. Looks like overall the southern end of this line is kind of weakening. So that's certainly some good news. Folks there in Hohenwald, let's check in with our friends there. What is that, Lewis County? I believe so, Lewis County. And you're about to get some really heavy rain. Let's see how much lightning's on this too. So we got about 8 strikes in this view. So you're going to be dealing with some heavy rain, some lightning, and then let's check on the winds real quick just for you. Let me switch over to... Just bear with me, guys. Nope, I don't want that radar. No, I don't want that one either. So we'll stick with OHX. Let's see what the winds are like. So 40 to 50 miles an hour. And Hohenwald, this is kind of far away from our radar site here in Nashville. So we're kind of getting the top half of these storms. So these wind speeds might be a little more than they actually are there at the surface. So you might be dealing with some winds around 30 to 35 miles an hour west of Hohenwald. That's going to move into your area here. 5 minutes, maybe. So just a heads up down there in Lewis County. You're going to get your share of the rain here in the next couple of minutes. So folks, again, we do have a severe thunderstorm warned line basically from the northern state line of Tennessee all the way down towards the south. There is a little bit of a break there, but basically the entire portion of this line in the state of Tennessee is severe thunderstorm warned right now. We do not have any tornado warnings. That one was allowed to expire. That was for Humphreys and Dickson counties. That expired about 2 to 3 minutes ago. So that is certainly some good news. I do suspect that as this line continues to move towards the east, getting closer to Nashville, it should gradually continue to weaken, but still maintain enough strength to be classified as a severe thunderstorm warned storm. So we'll keep a close eye on that. As far as Nashville goes, again, what time is it? We're at 10:45. I still don't believe it's going to be until about 11:45 to midnight that this kind of catches up to the Nashville area. Might be a little sooner, actually. Might be right around 11:30 or so. Let me just get the speed on this again. So we're still moving at around 50 miles an hour. So let's draw a quick track out on this one, right there in Dickson County, at around 40, we'll just say 49, so let's do 49 miles an hour. This is going to be, where are you, Nashville? This is going to be around White Bluff around 11 o'clock, Harpeth High School around 11:07, Pegram around 11:10, Ashland City around 11:15, and I can just actually look and show you what Nashville's going to be. It's got Nashville closer to, let's see here, closer to about 11:30. Okay, so that timing works out. So about 11:30, this portion of the line should be moving you guys into your neighborhood. Again, it's gradually weakening, so that's certainly some good news. But we still have a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings on our plate here, but no tornado warnings. And so since we don't have any tornado warnings right now, I'm going to send it back to programming here in just a few minutes. But again, if you're just joining us, I just want to recap real quick that we have no tornado warnings across Middle Tennessee at the moment. We do, however, have a tornado watch for most of Middle Tennessee that goes until 4 a.m. So think of a watch as conditions are favorable. A warning is it's happening, okay? So a watch goes all the way until 4 a.m., but we, at the moment, do not have any active tornado warnings here across Middle Tennessee. So that is good news. Let me just check the National Weather Service chat real quick. I want to make sure I'm not missing any information I need to pass along to you guys. Got some thunderstorm wind gusts of around 60 miles an hour in Clarksville. Okay, that's what we looked at together just a few minutes ago. Tornado warning was expired at 11:41. That was 5 minutes ago, so I already passed that along. That's good news. Damaging winds are heading towards the Dickson area. Okay, let's take a look at that real quick. So we'll take a dive down to Dickson County, and this was the portion that was tornado warned here about 5 minutes ago. It's no longer warned, so that is good news. So the first thing we'll do is we'll check on the rotation. And nothing at all jumps out at me, so that is good news. So let's switch over and let's look at the wind speeds, because that's what the Weather Service was just talking about. So wind speeds of around 40, 50. Okay, so yeah. So wind speeds of around 50 to 60 miles an hour kind of working through Dickson County right now. So if you are around Dickson County, I would say go ahead and hop to your safe spot just to be on the safe side of things. Again, I was saying this about 10 minutes ago, damaging winds can sometimes be worse than small-scale tornadoes just because, one, of how much more reach that they can grab, and two, they can have wind speeds up to the strength of an EF1 tornado or an EF0. So again, damaging straight-line winds should be treated with the same respect as tornado warnings, okay? As tornadoes, excuse me. So anyways, we are dealing with some gusty winds here around Dickson. Switch back over to the radar. Very heavy rainfall coming your way. Got any lightning? About 10 strikes, so it is super electric. One thing that I will point out is that about an hour ago, our lightning strikes north of 150 strikes in the past 15 minutes. Now we're down to just 80 or so. So typically whenever you have a super electric storm, its lightning total goes down drastically in a short amount of time, is usually an indicator that these storms are weakening. So that is certainly some good news. I'm hoping that these storms completely lose strength by the time they get to the I-65 corridor and Nashville. So we'll see what happens. But again, this is going to be around the Nashville area, closer to about 11:30, 11:45. So again, guys, in the meantime, please have a couple of different ways of receiving alerts tonight. The News 4 app, to search for it in your app store. It's a great tool. You can select whichever counties you want to receive alerts for. You can choose one. You can choose all 50 plus here in the state of Tennessee. Just make sure you have a way to receive alerts. Keep your phones charged. We do still have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings around Middle Tennessee right now, but no tornado warnings. So for that reason, I'm going to go back to local programming, but if anything starts to re-intensify, if I see any areas of rotation, best believe I'm going to hop right back in, and we're going to continue to track these storms together. But in the meantime, we'll send it back. If you guys have any questions, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to answer them for you, okay? Have a good night.